All right, come on. Let's video. Let's
We
go.
have a 12 o'clock reservation over there.
There's nobody in there.
All right, I'm out here in Delray Beach, Florida with John and John, right?
John and
Yes.
John.
You guys are from Italy or from New York?
Our ancestors are from Italy. My mother, my father, my grandparents. Now, let me tell you something about that. This is really what I want to talk about.
Talk.
Our ancestors, Italian ancestors, came to this country legally. They got in line at Ellis Island and got citizenship, learned English as best as they could, and became citizens. This is back in the early 1900s. My grandfather, both my grandparents, came to America with nothing in their pockets.
Right,
Nothing.
right.
And they would not be hired by anyone. Italians were discriminated against that maybe people don't realize.
How about at Eastman Kodak?
At Eastman Kodak.
My father
Exactly.
came back. My father came back from World War II. My father was one of 10. 8 boys went to World War II. 8 boys came home. Not one got hired by Eastman Kodak.
That's right, because they were Italian. My father could not get hired. My grandfather, when he came, had to work in the coal mines. It's the only job he can get. Now, here's the spirit. He hardly spoke English, very, very bad, very poorly. But he wanted a better life. What did he do? He moved his family from Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, where he worked in the coal mines, to Rochester, New York, bought a house with 7 apartments so that all his children could live in that house. And he opened up a little grocery store in the front. When I say a little grocery store, I'm talking maybe 500 square feet. And he sold things to the neighborhood. And then, as he got more money, in the basement, he started serving dinners. And my mother and her sisters would serve the food and beer. And he built a nice business. And he became successful during Prohibition, during the Depression. He was so proud. He would not take any money from the government. He refused to take a handout. So they worked. All his daughters worked. My mother, at 14 years old, he put her on a train, 14 years old, to Detroit. Her older brother, was living in Detroit. They needed the money. She made my mother drop out of grammar school, take a train by herself to Detroit, and get a job at a box factory to send money back home. 14 years old.
Wow.
So, what's the message? The message is immigrants that come to this country are welcome. And you should do what you need to do. This is the land of opportunity. Here's immigrants. My grandparents couldn't speak English, became very successful, made enough money to support their family without taking any government handouts. So why do we have the society that we live in today, where we have all this crazy things coming into our country, gangs, bad people, that has to stop? So, what do you think?
I think you're right.
John's just chilling over there.
I'm hungry. It's time for our lunch.
What are you guys gonna
No.
eat?
Tremonti, right
Tremonti.
across the street.
Is it good?
It's one of the
the
best.
best.
That's
One
why
of the
we're here.
best.
I
Can I-
came down for Stuart to come here.
Can I join you?
Do you want to join us?
So anyway, I'd love,
Oh, where do I get good Italian food around here? I'm serious.
That's right here, Tremonti.
so
That
I
looks like
think,
a tourist trap.
yeah, it's
It's a tourist trap, no? I want like deli, like a good deli, you know?
yeah, it's very expensive, very expensive.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my rant, and I'm very passionate about being of my Italian heritage, because I know what my people went through. Sorry about that.
So
and the discrimination that they encountered. People, maybe, did you even realize that?
I
Did you
heard
hear
that, but I wasn't alive in those times, right?
No, I
So
know.
for me, like, I'm 30 years old.
Right.
When I meet an Italian American, for me they're American, right? I know, oh, my family's
Right.
Italian, but honestly, most of them don't even speak Italian, so I wouldn't know the difference,
Yes.
right? But I do realize that there is an attachment to the traditions,
Oh, the
and
traditions are
everyone
amazing.
hears the stories of their family. It's very interesting for me to sit here with you and hear this. What did you experience, you yourself, growing up? Did you feel like you got part of that discrimination, or was it gone by the time?
Well, that's a good question. No, even as I grew up, now we grew up in an Italian neighborhood. So when my father and mother met, we in Rochester, everyone stayed in the Italian neighborhood. So everybody around us was either Italian or Polish. Polish lived. There was a Polish section near our section of the Italian neighborhood. So we all were within, an Italian neighborhood. However, as we moved out of the city into the suburbs, you then had more of a diverse people. And I would be some kids that weren't Italian would say, hey, the wop, the guinea, you're a guinea, they would have slang towards us, but you know what? We didn't reciprocate. We just let it go. But the wonderful culture of growing up Italian is our families got together every Sunday. So every Sunday, all my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, we were together at our grandparents' house, and then later in life at my mom's house, right? My mother and father, everyone would gather for Sunday dinner. What was Sunday dinner? Sauce. Red sauce, meatballs, pork, sausage, just food coming out of your ears. Eggplant parmesan, and it was a gathering of every Sunday, and that kept the family so close.
That's awesome.
And growing up, it was the most wonderful experience to have our cousins. My cousins are like my brothers and sisters. That's how close we are. Your cousins are just like your brothers and sisters, sometimes even closer. So here now in Florida, many of my cousins that I grew up with are here.
That's
so
awesome.
on Sundays we still get together.
And you have kids yourself?
I have kids. I have two children, Marissa and Johnny. And Marissa, they were brought up the same way, very heavily family tradition, and they're carrying on that tradition.
That's awesome, man.
And so that's I love our family. I love being Italian because of the warmth, the importance of family. The Italian culture is all about family and giving, right? You meet Italians when you met us, right? What did you experience?
Energy.
Welcoming.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So we welcome everyone. When, we Italians will have you over to their house. Come on, come over, come and eat. Let's drink some wine. Hospitable,
That's awesome.
loving.
I'm especially interested in the whole Italian-American mix. I've been to Italy twice, right?
Beautiful.
So similar but different, right?
Yes,
like,
totally.
I feel like Italians did something here in the U.S. It was almost like because you move to a place that's so big and confusing and you can get lost in the mix if you don't hold your tradition. So I feel like the Italian-Americans, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
like doubled down on that, and they prioritize it because it's not going to be handed to you on a platter. Like in Italy, people live the way they live.
Right.
You come to America and you live the way everyone else lives. Like you lose your stuff, right?
You do, but
What was
you
the
manage-
like? What do you think the U.S. added to the mix in a good way, bad way?
I think more opportunities. As the discrimination lessened, many Italians are very successful. Businessmen, construction, building, masons, craftsmen, scientists, doctors. As that stigmatism of being a wop or a guinea decreased, America gave these people more opportunities because it is the land of opportunity. You're free. You went to college. You know, some of my, there's only in my family, very few were able to go to college. Myself, my brother, and three of us out of 5 were able to go to college. Many of the older, like my parents and the older
Right, they
Italians,
had to do the other stuff.
never had the opportunity to go to college. They had to work.
But they prioritized it for
Yes,
you guys, right?
They made sure we got an education.
Is that part of the reason that a lot of the younger Italian Americans don't speak Italian? Because they were so focused on...
Very good question. That's an excellent question. I'm glad you touched on that. My parents and grandparents all spoke Italian, but they would never teach us Italian. Say, Ma, why don't you teach us Italian?
Is that frustrating for you? Does it make you angry?
I wish
sad?
now, no. But you know what her answer was? Their answer? You're an American. You're an American. You speak English. I wish I knew Italian. I know a little bit. But I wish now in hindsight, as I'm older, I would love to be able to speak fluent Italian. But they were so passionate that we were Americans now. And you will speak English. So they never would teach us. None of my family, none of my cousins, and many of, you know, I'm not unique. Many of us in the age that I'm in, they were brought up the same way.
Right. Every Italian American I meet your age
speak
is
English.
the same deal.
They don't speak Italian anymore.
Right.
Because their parents felt so strongly that you're an American. Now, what does that say? You know, why can't that be an example for other immigrants that come to this country?
I guess it's personal choice.
But, you know...
The double-edged sword of that freedom is that, yeah, you have the opportunity, but the freedom also allows people to choose, right? So,
True.
I mean, you gotta... It's like free speech, man. You know what I mean? Like, you love
right.
it until it
Right.
offends you.
But you would think there's some people that, you know, living in Florida now, there's a lot of people that don't speak English at all.
Sure, yeah.
And
It's very common, actually.
Yeah, and I don't get that. Why would, you know, I can't communicate with them.
Some of them do come to realize that if they learn, and when they learn, that it improves their lives
Of
here,
course,
right?
I can't, but I don't understand why that's not instilled in them. To learn English, this is where you are. This is where you live.
It's about it being a necessity. I think your ancestors saw, hey, if we want to get what we need, right?
Get ahead,
You know,
he's Fazio.
bro.
Hey, listen.
Only the good stuff.
I hope that I wish everyone well, and I thank you for doing this, and I hope people watch this. And if you want to contact me, I'd love to do more of something.
We'll do a video together. Where can I find you next?
As far as
You give me your number or whatever.
I'll give you my number.
Yes.
But if people like what I'm saying, I'd love to do a podcast or something on whatever.
I'm gonna post this on my Instagram, and I'm gonna send you the link.
All right.
And you'll see what people are saying, and we can get together. We can go taste some Italian food.
You got it.
You know, we can talk about those traditions.
Wonderful.
Hear some more stories.
Okay.
Whatever you want to talk about,
Be
man.
happy to do
I
so.
appreciate you taking the time,
Thank
bro.
you.
Go enjoy your
It's
meal.
nice to meet you.